Light upon you, light within you, light around you, light to guide you, light to comfort you, light to heal you, light to clarify for you. Light to guide you home. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for reforming this circle of light. I want to thank you personally, because you see, when we receive so much, on the one hand, there is nothing asked of us. On the other hand, a great deal is asked of us, which is to pass it on. To make of ourselves a center for the transmission and reception of light. How do we do that? When we have so much light, it overflows and we can't help it. How we do that, what it looks like, what the form is, truly is not relevant. I do this form because it matches me, because it gives me a space that I love. I love being with you. It's part of my mission to learn how to hold that space for numbers of people. But it doesn't matter what the form is. What matters for me in my life, what makes my health, is that I say yes. So in my saying yes, you're saying yes to come and help me. And so I hope you get from this what I get, which is the chance to be in a circle of lovely people, all of us learning together to be in our hearts, to be receptors and transmittors of light. With our different ideologies and our different opinions and our different points of view and our different karmas and blah, 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 blah. Which, as they say on the East Coast where I used to live, that's what makes horse races. So let's join together consciously. Breathe in your heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Center yourself in your heart. Most of us have done this before. If you're brand new to us, you'll pick up on it. Breathe in your heart, in the center of your heart. Feel your grounding, relaxing your body around your center pole. Right? Your body is a fireman. And you go like this, and you slide down the pole and you relax. Like that. Then you breathe in your heart. And you feel it goes like this. Bing, 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 bing. And it connects with everybody. Why? Because hearts seek hearts. Last time we were on this thing here, I received and I said, which I've been thinking about, right? Because I receive it and I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Every creature on every planet, right? You can now have the the James Webb telescope showing there are like millions of planets, right? It would be a shame, by the way, if this was the best that the universe could do. But in any case, there's a lot of them, right? Lots of creatures. So what I received was every creature has the ability to find the center. Every creature in some form has a heart. Light is ubiquitous. Love is universal. So you know what I mean? Whatever the form, right? However many appendages and where the brain is and what the culture is and what it looks like and whether all the creatures are in water or air or have a physical body or not. On every level of creation, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, astral, cosmic, this vibration exists. So spiritual paths are simply the organization of coming to this point and the practice of being in this space that we are coming to. Why? Because from there, everything is possible. So each one of us, I referred to it a little pejoratively before, right? I have my opinion, you have your opinion, I have my karma, you have my karma. I'm in this body, you're in a different body. I have this gender identification, you have a different gender identification. Okay. Coming to the space of the heart, which is universal, which is ubiquitous in all creatures, joins us in that space, and then everything is possible for the evolution, the transformation of all of that. All of those thises and that's. Right? All of our thises and that's are then offered up for a natural process of evolution, of transformation. Which leads me to something else I want to tell you. Do you have that? I received an email this week, and it's a question, a very beautiful question. And I want to read it to you because then it's also an example, right? Because some of you all are coming to ask questions. We have this Thursday, we have a class on discernment. Some of you are on this, and some of you also are very welcome to ask other questions. Here's the question from Carolyn. I have a question. It's about acceptance versus surrender. I've read about, quote, surrender in your book, The Gift of the Body, and the information helped greatly, especially with respect to the third chakra's view of surrender versus the fourth chakra's view. So if you want to know about that, you're going to have to read the book. But I cannot find much about, quote, acceptance in the book. I've read some Buddhist articles about acceptance, but those articles frame acceptance as purely a mind thing. Acceptance and surrender sound similar, but feel different. Third chakra notwithstanding. Could you shed some light on this for me? Interesting question, right? Because it is true, right? Acceptance is a big deal in that the Buddhist type point of view, and I agree with that. So I thought about it, and Jane and I talked about it for a while, and then I wrote something. I'm just going to capture it for you here, because then it's appropriate for what we're doing also. Acceptance, so the difference is a difference in dimension, right? So we have to accept that you and I, we live multidimensionally. We have limited ourselves based on culture, based on the rise of economy, based on committed to the third chakra. We've limited our dimensionality, but in fact, we exist on different dimensions. The heart connects us, the more deeply we go into the heart, with those other dimensions naturally. So there is a dimension that I live in, which is here now, this body, this vehicle, this life, this consciousness, and all the different parts of that, which is plenty already, as my grandmother would say. Right? That, right? So that dimension is where I live. Acceptance is being in this here now, observing all of that, and it's revealed sequentially deeper and deeper and deeper, observing my parts, observing reality, which means letting go of the veil of opinion, the blinders of ego, right? The demands of culture, getting to a point through meditation, in my case, also through ceremony, through prayer, receiving light here now, here now, here now, and accepting all of that, accepting what is, being with what is, giving up my attachment to opinion, giving up my, in my case, all right, American male, middle class, professional illusion that I can control all that, and that somehow my decisions affect reality, and being in with what is, which means being in the stream of reality. Because it's not just sitting back and observing. I enter into relationship with all of that. Okay, that's acceptance in my view. Surrender is when I get to that point and I open myself to even more light. There is a mystery dimension where I'm going to my heart, spiritual body of the heart, that I enter into relationship to that which is beyond this here now, into the space of timelessness, into the dimensions beyond my body, beyond my mind, completely beyond my understanding. And as I enter into relationship with that, through my heart, through light, through my consciousness, through my awareness, I am invited to step into that mystery in my consciousness. I say yes or no. Yes is surrender. So there's different dimensions. Acceptance puts me here in relation to what is. My blinders are off, or at least they come off sometimes. Surrender, so to speak, says, okay, good for you. Now, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. That happens when I'm ready. Ready, what? Now, I can be ready mentally, but it happens when for real I'm ready. Ready in my being. In this work, when I've lined up my chakras, when I'm grounded on earth, sending the heart, receiving light, when I've seen the effect of opinion and let go of that, when I've transformed or in the process of transforming my trauma in light by putting it on the altar of faith. But acceptance also is accepting that I am a work in progress, always will be. So acceptance implies I got to let go of that criticism stuff. I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it enough. I didn't. Blah, 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 blah. I got to let go of that. Be with what is. To use the phrase from the 60s that I love, we are all bozos on this bus. The bus is this planet. We are all bozos, right? Clowns, doing the best we can together, helping each other. So that's accepting. And so let me tell you when I learned about this. I'll tell you a little story. This was the first time I was in Brazil. And I went to a place called Visconde de Mauá, a community called Serra Montagna. And the program was, I was there for a month, right? So some of you have heard, I don't know if you've heard this story. I'm sorry if you heard this story, but you're going to hear it again because it's a story I like. And every third day, we would drive in a little VW bug and a VW bus, and we would go down this mountain like an hour, go to the Daime community, participate in one of their rituals, super strong, mostly all night, and then come back and spend 3 days processing, doing group work, because my teacher, my friend, Jose Rosa, was an incredible group leader, a genius at group work. So one of the things he did with us was he took us one day on a hike along the river, because we stayed in a group hotel, had little posadas, little chalets. There was a river that came like a skinny river, but very fast, right? So one of the days in between, about halfway through the group, we're walking along the river. Now, I'm gonna back up a second. For me, the Daime work was very challenging. Very challenging. All those things I named before, middle-class, white, professional, Jewish, male, all those things, neurotic, traumatized, blah, 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 blah. All of those things made me really difficult to enter, made difficult for me to enter into vibrational connection with that mystery. I want to control it. I want to explain it. It basically, excuse my French, it scared the shit out of me. And it was compelling because it was the smartest, most incredible thing I had ever met. So I was like, oh, but I can't, but I don't want to, but I want to go home, but I don't, but I don't like that. So this particular day, it was in between these rituals, we're walking along the river. Now, there were 8 people in our group. I was by far the strongest person, and except for one person, the most athletic. I was the only person on that day that fell into the river 4 times. Everybody else was hiking along and boom, and I fell in the river 4 times in this river going like down a mountain. The same thing happened 4 times, right? I'm there looking ahead at the waterfall in the direction of which I'm heading, and I'm thinking, wow, I could die. Oh my God. 4 times, the same thing happened instinctively in me. I had no choice. There was nothing I could do. I happen to be an excellent swimmer. There was no place to swim. So I'm headed down, and instinctively I relaxed, looked, observed, and then I saw 4 times there was a little eddy, a little corner that I could lean into, get out, and keep going 4 times, because I'm a very stubborn person. So that night, we go down, we drive down the mountain, we get into the ritual. 10 minutes into the ritual, right? We had drunk the Daime. I have my eyes closed, and I see in front of my face, like this close, I'm looking at a rock in a river with water cascading down like this, cascading down, down, down. And a voice says to me in my ear, be as you were in the river. A number of questions arose at that moment. A, who said that? B, they knocked me into the river? How did they know? Oh my God, what's going on? Like that. But that's what I did. And from that day on, that's what I do, is remember being in the river. Remember that, in fact, I can't control anything. I can't control anything. That's an illusion. I'm in, right? The river is the metaphor for ages and ages and ages. This happened to be not just metaphorical, but actual. Be as you were in the river, which means look ahead, accept where you are, Stop trying to make up the story about controlling it. And then, oh my God, realize that you have options. All the solutions are right there in front of you if you stop pretending that from your mind you can make up a story about how you can fix it. You can't fix it. You can flow with it and actually affect it. Completely different concept from fixing it, making it happen. So the basis of this healing that we do, and the basis of the relationship with light, my dear ones, is nobody heals nobody. We're not fixing anything. We are entering into that reality, observing, seeing, and having the possibilities present themselves, and then receiving within that space from intuition inside, from guidance that comes from another place, how we can best help the possibility to manifest. Help what's trying to happen better, more efficiently. You see? For me, that's healing. And that's what light teaches me. I realized in retrospect, when I was in that river and I was like, whoa, my wife's going to be really pissed at me if I die now. Comes light. Watch, watch, pay attention. See there? Lean right. Ooh, boom. So for me, everything in the spiritual world is actual and metaphorical. That's the metaphor for me, and that's what I offer to you. Right? To be in radical acceptance, to be in contact with light is not to be passive. It's not to be passive. It is to join the observational, non-controlling aspect that we can call the feminine aspect, the aspect of acceptance, the aspect of embracing, the aspect of embracing everything, bringing it into oneself, with, if you want to call it, the masculine principle of vertical, firm, clear, observational action, but action within that united context, not action to control, action to affect as is appropriate. Because within that space also, what is appropriate often is nothing. Don't do nothing. The hardest lesson for me to learn as a healer has been don't do nothing until it's clear, and wait, and wait, and wait. Now, see that over there? What if that, remove that, take that away, put that on the altar of faith, call light. Now, something's ready to leave, grab it, but not grab it because I want to grab things, grab it because now it's ready to move and we're helping it move out. That's what healing is in my world. Okay. By the way, this Friday, you'll be getting an announcement of a healer's course that I'm going to be teaching starting in the beginning of the year. I'm going to do a 10-month course training people in transformational energy healing. So all of this is preliminary. I'm not telling you this. I mean, I guess I am telling you, come and be with us. It's going to be an incredible course. This is the culmination of everything that I've learned in 45 years of doing healing work, spiritual work. Right? But I just gave you the essence, how to get there, how we train ourselves, how we train our bodies, our vehicles to be transmitters, receivers, and transmitters of light, to be in touch with our guides. It takes a while. What we're doing here is learning the basics of it, which is opening ourselves to receive light. How we make use of it, how we diagnose, how we help to create the space, all that, how we look at the body, how the view, putting on the goggles. All that's part of what we're going to talk about and learn together in this healers course. So you'll get that in a couple of days. Think about it, feel into it, right? See what your intuition tells you about coming in, transforming whatever you do now within the space of light, the discovery and discovering your natural healing abilities. If you already know what they are and they're already there, let's deepen them. So to return to the original thing I said, finding what your expression is of your healership, of your mediumship, of your light personship is what the course is about. And then learning how to do it, learning how to actually actualize it. That first time when I went into that river, that was the basis of my transition from being a practitioner. I was an acupuncturist. I was a good acupuncturist, to becoming a healer. A different thing, different thing. Okay. Let me see what else I wanted to tell you. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing, and then we're going to go get into the actually receiving this light here. I hope you're receiving it already. On the deepest level, on the level of spiritual evolution, I want to share this with you because it's something that I am seeing in myself. Every time I sit down to meditate, every time I heal a piece of my trauma thought, right, my binding thought, every time I step into my heart and clear a little molecule of what's been blocking it, every time I open my channel a little more, which we're going to do in a second, and receive more light, what I'm doing is preparing this vehicle to be a vessel for divine love. For that, however you frame that, however in this moment you understand the word, the divine, God, the goddess, the numinous, however you understand that which you are part of and that is beyond you, everything you're doing, I can say for myself, everything I'm doing, I think everything you're doing is preparing for that to come and inhabit you from the inside and also from what appears to be outside. Everything that I do, every choice I make goes one way or another. Some of my choices call to me more material that then I have to transform. Right? So living a spiritualized life with all this that I'm talking about, getting to that place of acceptance, getting ready to step into the mystery, right? Which is what I'm talking about. Every choice I make is preparing or impeding that happening, which is not, how do I want to say it? It's not an occasion for criticism. It's an occasion for understanding. There are things that I do, thoughts that I have, actions I take that I know have closed down some part of me that I then need to enter into a different kind of choice to open it up again and allow the cleansing, cleaning. I'm not talking about neurotic cleaning, right? I'm not talking about never eating anything that isn't absolutely pure. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about clearing my consciousness, healing the karmic lessons that I came to learn. All of this process, all of it, the basis of it, my dear ones, is grounded on earth, centered in the heart, receiving light, and following what comes. Being in the river, seeing where the eddy is, confronting the fear of death, the possibility of death, and going forward anyway, finding courage, following faith, being in the space of compassion, leaving the space of compassion, coming back to the space of compassion, leaving the space of faith, coming back to faith, choosing again and again and again, and understanding that in its own time, in the time of my soul, in collaboration with my guides, in collaboration with all the levels of the universal forces, I am preparing myself more and more to become a vessel of divine love. That's what I know. Okay? Maybe you can feel it, right? You can feel the resonance of that, I hope. I hope. That's my prayer. That I'm not just talking to hear myself talk. I did that plenty in my life. Okay. So I want to teach you one more thing in terms of the reception of light, and then we're going to do that. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. Grounded on earth, which means if you're sitting down, if you're sitting cross-legged, you're extending your first chakra into the ground. If you're sitting like I am, I'm sitting in a chair. So I'm feeling my feet. I'm feeling the ball of my foot right here. Right? Is my toes. Here's the ball of my foot. Right behind there is kidney 1, for those who know something about acupuncture. Kidney 1, translation that I know of it, is bubbling spring. Bubbling spring is the first point in the kidney meridian, and it is a little chakra-ette. It goes when you push it. It goes like that. And it connects you with the underground water. There you go. See? Good job. Now, open your first chakra. Put your first chakra between your feet, or if you're sitting, straight down into the earth. There you go. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you know what your work is, right? Preparing yourself is not some huge mystical thing. It's like ground yourself on earth. If that's your challenge, there are people on this call, I know that's true of you. Your challenge is not going up into the ethers. Your challenge is grounding yourself in your body. You got to have both. If you fly around in the ethers all the time, you're going to be subject to imagination and fantasy and conspiracy theories and all kinds of stuff that has nothing to do with reality. And if you're stuck in the mud, heavy on earth, you can't get up to the higher levels, and you're subject to depression and to the limitations of being in a body. It's both. And everybody's got one or the other, right? I spent 2 years in therapy every day, grounding, hours a day, doing grounding exercises, because I was so caught in my pathetic mind. So, grounded on earth. Now, put one hand on your lower belly, one hand under your chest, under your top of your chest. Breathe between your hands. Open your center. Like that. Breathe from one hand to the other. Breathe from one hand to the other. So now you're grounded on earth, and now you're feeling your center. Now, put your hands, cross your hands gently over your heart center. Join that place, enter that place, maintain the awareness of the other parts. Good for you. Now flip your hands open, make a shelf in front of your heart chakra. Step into the space of compassion. where your fingers are. Your fingers are describing exactly, literally, the face of compassion. Now extend your hands. My hands here, I'm going to put the heel of my hands where my fingers were. Here's where compassion. Here's faith. Faith. Sit there for a minute in the space of faith. Amen. Now, you're going to come back to that, right? If you can do the next step and still stay centered in your heart, then you're ahead of the game. The next step is you're going to open your channel of light. So put your hands back here. I know some of you have done this before, but you got to keep working at it. Put your hands back here, right? Slowly raise your hands. You have a tube. I'm talking to the people who may be new here. You have a tube, an energetic tube that goes just like this, a chimney, goes to the top of your aura. Raise your hand slowly along the back of your hair. Come up, gently opening that chimney. Open it up. All the way up. Okay. I'm giving you things to practice day to day. I still do this every day. I don't have to do this part anymore, but the rest of it I do. Okay. Now, advanced channel opening. Middle fingers, put them right here on your neck, on either side. Okay? Close your eyes, ground yourself, breathe in your heart, visualize and see and feel this part of your neck expanding outward. You're going to widen it with your breath, with your awareness. You're telling the muscles of your neck expand. And you want to feel it relax and open, doesn't matter, a 1/10 of an inch, a 15th of an inch. Open it up. This one you got to work. Like that. I just did it. Practice it until you can do it without your fingers. You open that up because then you're opening up the channel, you see. It's also really, really good for those of us who have schizoid tendencies, where our heads are disconnected from our bodies, right? So there's a psychological, emotional, energetic part of it, but also you're opening up your spiritual channel. So now, come back and let's go back to the beginning. We're going to run through it like this. Grounded on earth, feeling your feet, your first chakra. Breathing in your center. Opening your channel of light. Coming back to your heart. Stepping into the space of faith. Step through the space of compassion into the space of faith. Now, whatever it is that in you is transforming and needs help to do that, that may be an illness, that may be a confusion, that may just be the step you're taking in that preparation of yourself to be a vessel of divine love. Whatever it is, put it on the altar of faith. Place it in consciousness on the altar of faith. We are calling it into transformation. We're not calling it to obliteration. We're calling it into the process of becoming light infused. Put it on the altar of faith. Now, come back to your heart, close your eyes, breathe. We're going to call light to all of this, my dear ones. Light is already here, but we're going to focus a beam of light above each of us, above all of us, going to come through your channel into that space, into your whole aura, into your whole vehicle, and with a special beam coming to that altar of faith. I'm going to say the prayer I say. We call here on the guides of these beloved ones. We call on the guides of this work. We ask that our prayer for transformation, for clearing, for grounded, firm, clear, compassion, faith-filled light to come and shine upon us, upon that which we have put on the altar of faith, and to fill us with this divine light. We ask the guides to do this for us, through us, around us. And we ask that what we do here be of some good use to all beings in the sacred path of unity, harmony, illumination, transformation, and liberation. Amen. Breathe, be available. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Breathe in your heart. Open even more. Around your central pole, you relax and you open your bodies. Your vehicle is a jar that's being filled with light pouring down through the neck of the jar, which is your channel. Now, in the center of our circle of the heart, there is our collective altar of faith. Everything that each one of us put on our own altar of faith is now being transferred to the collective altar of faith to be exponentially strengthened in the ability to receive light. I pray for you. You pray for me. The light grows stronger. Now feel how your channel is opening even more now. Pay attention to that space in the back of your neck, back of your head. Feel how the light is coming down, how your breath is rising up, meeting in the place. To open your channel even more. We support each other in receiving even more light. Hmm. So now when we say light upon you, light within you, light around you, light to guide you, light to comfort you, light to heal you, light to bring you home to your own heart. Now you know what the prayer is saying and invoking. And now there's another energy riding on this light coming to your heart. We call this the peace of Christ. You may call it whatever you wish. But breathe into it. Expand your heart even more. Be in the sensation of light and feel how this peace arrives to the space that light has cleared. Let this peace unify all your aspects, your chakras, the layers of your vehicle, your mind with your heart, your life force with your heart, your earthly self, your celestial self, your higher self, your lower self. Breathe. Feel how your body, that you're used to thinking of your body, absorbs this light, responds to the light, comes alive, including clearing, including that which you have carried that is not yours, that you have brought to this moment to be lifted into light. Breathe and allow it all. See it, feel it, sense it. And now, if there are places in your body that you can feel that have been resistant to light, places of contraction, places of pain, places of illness, places of the holding of trauma, breathe and bring the light through your breath to those places. The stage has been set by your reception of light. Call the vibration of divine light and this peace to that discrete place in your vehicle. Now, in a few moments, you're going to feel, see, sense, hear the concentration of light gently receding, leaving you in light, leaving you with the peace of Christ in your heart. Be aware of the shift, the subtle shift. And be aware that the teaching is you can call this anytime. Best to do it in a place of quiet, best to do it in a place where you can take some time. And yet it is available always. Come back to the awareness of your heart. Come back to the awareness of your grounding, your center, your channel. This is the structure we're building, the internal structure around which everything else organizes itself. We get to the place where, with a thought and a breath, we activate this, and the light is there. So now he says again, perhaps you feel it a little differently. Light of Christ upon you, light of Christ within you, light of Christ to heal you, light of Christ to guide you, light of Christ to comfort you, light of Christ to remind you of who you are as you discover who you are, and light of Christ to guide you home to your heart. And may you be blessed now, as you are, in this circle of light, the circle of the heart. May you be blessed with the peace of Christ in your heart. And we say again, call it what you will, but call it. If another name for it comes to you, call it that. I want to thank you for joining us in our home. You can see our living room behind us. Join me. Thank you for coming to visit us in the House of White Eagle, where we do our work. I do hope that some of you will consider coming to be with us, either on Thursday, most especially in the healers training that we're going to be come. Going to have a maximum of 30 people. We're going to meet 4 times in here, the House of White Eagle, over the year, 4 times 4 days. And then we'll have, in like this, classes. We're going to study the book of the Gifts of the Body. We're going to look at videos together. We're going to do all kinds of things. I guarantee it's going to be awesome. That I can guarantee. What you learn is going to be up to you. The thing is going to be awesome. And then come back next month. We do this. For me, it's a huge blessing to do this once a month. When I received from my guide, do this once a month, for me, was a great gift. A great, great gift to be with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take one more breath together. Be in our hearts. Like that. That does not change. That does not change. Whatever craziness is around you, whatever mental blue you're going through, like I go through, whatever emotional disturbance, whatever mediumistic thing you're going through, another conversation. This space of the heart and this space of the light is my salvation on earth. It is my salvation. It's the place I go to heal. It's the place I go to remember. It's the space I go to have conversations, some of which in my position are not easy to have. Conversations inside myself, which are the most difficult. So let's do it again. Let's do it together. Bring your friends. Bring your enemies. That's a good idea too. Then you can be in the heart with them. Amen. Thank you. Namaste.